Howdy, my name's Ketchup, and today we will be covering some of my personal grievances with Epic the Musical. This does mean that there are spoilers for the musical, so please go listen to the sagas. Let's get into it. I'd like to start off by saying I love Epic. I listen to it every day, but there are a couple of things that I either dislike or I find as issues. I'd like to reiterate that this is my personal opinion and not in any way hate towards the musical, creator, or cast. To begin, I would like to cover a beloved and cherished character across the fandom, Polites. Played by Stephen Dookie and depicted as Odysseus' best friend, Polites is a soldier from Ithaca who is a soft and kind man. His signature song, Open Arms, is sung on the island of the Lotus Eaters to Odysseus, where he tells the latter that he should be more open to the world. This theme is brought back multiple times throughout the show. The issue arises in the song Survive, where Odysseus and his crew must fight the Cyclops Prometheus in order to get back to their boats. In this song, there's a point where the Cyclops takes out a club and crushes Polites, killing him. My issue with this is that it is not made very clear if listening to the song by itself. This is a very minor inconvenience, but one that is shared with many. For those who do not know, Jorge Rivera-Herrans, the creator of Epic, commissions artists for animatics which he showcases on a livestream on the night of release of each saga. If you do not watch the animatics, you can find yourself very lost in the story. I remember the first time I listened to the Ocean Saga and heard the song Keep Your Friends Close. I was very confused when the crew sang the line, "Everything's changed since Polites." I ended up having to look up when he died. I'd like to add as an aside, this issue is more in the original version of the song. In the original song, the captain from Polites is not clear to me and hard to make out what character it is. In the remastered version, Polites' cry is much more clear to me and easier to tell that it's him. Now for this section, I understand that a lot of the cast who played major roles were also used in the ensemble. But the issue I have is that because of this, it is hard to differentiate who is speaking at any given point. An example of this is in the first iteration of Survive, when the crew are being crushed by the Cyclops. I thought that Eurylochus had actually been part of this group of people due to Armando Julian, who voices Odysseus' second in command, also being part of the ensemble, voicing a few of the doomed crew members. While I understand that these are not official albums, it does feel confusing listening to them and hearing a main character seemingly die due to their actor voicing another character. I also do understand that in the more recent iteration of that song specifically, Armando Julian does change his voice to sound less like Eurylochus, which I personally much appreciate. While I love the Wisdom Saga, Legendary is one of those songs that is heavily influenced by exposition and explanations. This song introduces the audience to Telemachus, played by Miguel Veloso. I apologize if I said that wrong. Also known as Mico, I think that's pronounced Myco. The song itself is really good. It's one of my favorites, and I find myself humming it constantly. But there's one little nitpicky issue I have with this song, and it's for a valid reason, I feel. Now, I'm gonna pause here. This is the day after writing the script. Ketchup. I actually have gone through and listened to the song again, and some of this I feel is incorrect after reading it over again, which I will cover at the end of this segment once I am done reading the script. In the beginning of the song and the first iteration of the chorus, Telemachus sings, "I know life and fate are scary, but I want to be legendary." I feel like this part of the song is unnecessary and abrupt, specifically the legendary part. The first time I heard it, I was quite jarred. It felt almost thrown in and unused. It was the only instance of this, and it was never revisited. The biggest issue I have is I feel it breaks the flow of the song. It felt like we were switching musical genres, but all we did was go back to the original genre. I feel like this would have worked a lot better at the end of the song rather than the beginning, since it would have helped lead into Little Wolf a little better. A song where we are in fact switching gears to jump into a new genre of song. Legendary by itself is a great song, I just really heavily dislike this segment and the out of the blue nature of it. Now, this is postscript Ketchup. So, I've looked through this, I've thought about it. That part, I get why it was implemented. I've listened through it. It sounds okay, but I still think it's abrupt, and I still think that it's not great. It's not my favorite part of that song, and I think a lot of people might agree with me. But I am starting to wonder if it would work better leading into Little Wolf. I know when Telemachus sings it, it's supposed to be like this kind of like, I think it's supposed to be like a game thing. I'm not really sure, but I still think that it would work better if it was maybe not sang so brightly, so happily, so excitedly towards the end of the song, as more of a like descending into the next, like into this boss battle. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my edited take on that. Athena is by and large an important character in epic. Played by Teagan Earley, she is the goddess of war and wisdom, among other things, though not covered in this iteration of the mythology. She plays as the mentor and friend to both Odysseus and his son Telemachus. I have a few grievances with this character, one being the context behind Warrior of the Mind. Seeing as without a visual, animatic, or stage performance, it plays out as a very strange and confusing part of the Troy saga. When I first heard it, I thought that the songs were either out of order, or this was the present-day Odysseus meeting her for the first time. This was probably lent into the idea by the fact that Jorge Rivera-Herrans, who plays Odysseus, sounded exactly the same, leading into the idea for me that this was a current Odysseus rather than when he was a younger or child self. Again, no hate. This isn't saying that, oh, he should have. I'm saying that's just how it came off to me. My second issue is at the end of the Wisdom Saga. In God Games, Athena and Zeus end up having a battle. In the end, Athena begs him to release Odysseus from Callisto's island, where he's been trapped for 7 years. When I first listened to this song, I had thought that she had maybe risen from the rubble of Zeus's massive lightning strike, injured but otherwise okay, and stunned the king of the gods into agreeing. But if you watch the animatic by Smulio, who is actually commissioned by Jorge, we see that in the end, Athena seemingly does not survive the encounter. Now, in Love and Paradise, Calypso, also a goddess, tells Odysseus that goddesses can't die. Now, this leads me to believe that perhaps this issue is a temporary one, that Athena may return in the Ithaca saga, but that is more of a theory, one that I would like to explore along with other theories in a standalone video. Leading up to the release of the Vengeance Saga, I listened to the patched together songs that other fans had scoured clips from TikTok for. This got me super pumped to hear their final result, and I even joined the watch party livestream, which I had never done before this. And let me tell you, I was disappointed. The Vengeance Saga isn't bad per se, but I had a predisposed idea of how the songs would go. Now, the content of the saga itself isn't the issue. The issue I have is with the energy from the songs. Let's dive into it. The Vengeance Saga begins with the song Not Sorry for Loving You, sung by Calypso, who is played by, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, Barbara Wangui. Calypso's character is one the fans hold quite a lot of contempt for, which is reasonable for us. I can go into why Calypso might not be the worst character, but that's not the point of this video. I might go into more detail as to why I believe that she isn't as bad as we may think in another video, but needless to say, Calypso is a goddess who is trapped on an island that Odysseus ends up washing up on after the events of the Thunder Saga. She holds him captive for 7 years before Hermes delivers the news that he is to be released and allowed to go home. She is devastated by this, having fallen in love with the Greek, and sings Not Sorry for Loving You. Now, I must preface further the issue I have with this, with the fact that as we have gone through this story, we have established a couple of things about Odysseus. 1, he loves his wife. This is a driving factor in his story and the reason he goes on. 2, he is an extremely compassionate person. He was devastated when he realized to see his family again, he would have to sacrifice the last of his men, despite them stabbing him in the back multiple times at that point. It isn't beyond reason to think he may realize that Calypso, whom he has now lived 7 years with, is naive and that she may have even not been allowed to release him due to Zeus. So I feel that it is reasonable to think that he may be a little more caring towards Calypso when she is absolutely heartbroken. His only lines to her, though, throughout the song are Calypso and I love you, but not in the way that you want me to. I have no issues with the lines. The problem I find is in how the lines were delivered. I get that Odysseus is supposed to be tired, but again, we have established that he's a caring and compassionate person. It's probably part of why Penelope loves him so much. His character is as much of a part of his strength as his physical capabilities. But, and no offense to Jorge, the lines were delivered in a way that it almost made me feel like, the actor, maybe, rather than the character was speaking. In fact, throughout the saga, it feels like the actors are the ones singing, not the characters. Like they're all tired and done and want to finish this musical, which I understand. There's only one more saga after this, so, But going from the absolute energy of the original cuts I heard to this was massively disappointing, especially since it felt untrue to the characters. Now, I wanted to say, this is again postscript Ketchup. I kind of understand that it might have been just how the actor was trying to play the characters, but it feels like it's not how those characters would, react. Continuing on the last statement, throughout the first couple of songs, it felt like Odysseus was not excited to be going home at all. He just sounded tired, which I get, but he didn't start to be excited until towards the end of Dangerous, which just does not feel like how he would react. I would get it if it was maybe a slow realization that he was actually going home, but it confused the heck out of me. I did not know what was going on. I thought that he was disappointed, which is not how he would react. He would be frantically packing his raft, building it just in a frenzy. I mean, his sense of hope has just been restored, and yet nothing. No excitement, no feeling like he finally has a sense of purpose again. I mean, the guy literally just spent 7 years coming to terms with the fact that he probably will never see his family again. You'd think he'd be happy, excited, just bursting to get out there, but I don't know. Again, I understand maybe it's, he's an old man now, he's tired, he just is so done with everything. But at the same time, it just feels like he would have been a little more, oh my god, I get to see Penelope and Telemachus and all these people when I haven't seen in years, and I'm so excited, and I get it, maybe he didn't allow himself to be excited because, throughout this entire show, it's just, oh, I'm excited, yay, and then someone opens a freaking windbag, or, oh, I get it, but I also don't, I guess. Dangerous. The song I looked forward to the absolute most. When I first heard the song on an animatic using the stitched together clips, I was over the moon. I love synth. And Dangerous had a very 80s feeling, bright synth that came through just perfectly. I was so excited. And then I heard the official song. I'm going to be honest, Dangerous is my least favorite in this saga, maybe in the entire musical. Which sucks. I was so excited. But there was 2 major issues. One was the synth felt like it was dulled. As soon as I heard that, the entire song was tarnished for me. I mean, that was the selling point for me. It went from this really bright, not really in your face, but there, like a driving force to the song, to dull and backgroundy. Like, it felt like it was added there. It felt like it was only added to be there, to add something. Like, I genuinely didn't even notice that it was there. I thought it was just Hermes singing by himself. Like, I thought there was no music. But it's to the point where I don't even listen to the official version of the song anymore. I only listen to the original cuts, which sucks because I was so excited to actually be able to listen to, Troy Doherty, actually sing this, but instead, I'm finding myself listening to Jorge's version and the one where Troy actually sang in the first part, but second is Hermes. Now, I love Hermes. He's an amazing character, and Troy Doherty, the gentleman who plays Hermes, is an amazing vocalist. But his performance on this track is subpar, in my opinion. Let me break it down. When we talk, you can tell when someone is smiling. Smiling brightens your tone. Here's an example. This is me without smiling, and this is me talking while smiling. It not only brightened my tone, it changed the entire mood of my speech. And in Dangerous, I could tell that Troy was not smiling for a lot of the song. But in the song Wouldn't You Like, you could tell that he's smiling probably the entire time. Now I understand that Athena passed away, but Hermes is the god of tricksters. He's mischievous. He's the fox character. And this song is supposed to be a fun, boppy song. It's supposed to be the fun, boppy song of the saga. But I could not for the life of me get into this song. It just sounded like Hermes was tired and wanted to go home. The song also lacked a lot of the energy from the original clip. Again, feeling tired and exhausted, almost too chill, too laid back. And again, Troy's an amazing vocalist. I have no hate for any of the cast. I just feel like as a listener, Hermes wouldn't really be depressed. Plus, with the animatic to go with, you could tell he's not. He's literally dancing and, vibing the entire time. He only gets a little sad when telling Odysseus that he's not the one who fought for him. And I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, but I'm just drawing assumptions. I would like to also say, this entire video has just been me drawing assumptions and drawing conjectures, and that, it's just supposed to be fun. I'm not trying to bash anybody, okay? So, in conclusion, is Epic a bad musical? No, I love it so much. I just have a couple of issues, which most people have issues with basically everything. Do I like the Vengeance Saga? Not really. Get in the Water and 600 Strike are good, as well as Charybdis, and I enjoyed them. I think some of the parts are weird, like how Poseidon says gouge out his eyes. The rhythm of that was really weird to me, but otherwise it's a fantastic musical. Especially since it seems like Jorge is doing all of this from his house. I don't hate any of the musical. I just feel like I personally would have done a couple of things differently. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that some of these points were valid? Have some of your own? Or even a rebuttal to any of them? Feel free to leave a comment down below, and if I get enough, I might do another video covering them and go through and see what each one has. But please be nice. I understand that I probably have said things that other people might find offensive, but I'm not trying to be offensive. I am trying to just convey my own thoughts and my opinions. Anyway, please like and subscribe. It really helps me, especially starting out. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!